Today we will discuss about the importance of the disciplinary authority, understanding the differences of various penalties that is available under the disciplinary rules of the organization. There are total 10 penalties normally. In Government of India, there are total 10 penalties. All autonomous body, banks, public sector undertakings, by and large, have the same proposed penalties. There are 5 minor penalties and 5 major penalties in the rules. If you see the rule 11 of the CCA rules 1965, the rule divides the penalties into two parts, minor penalties and major. Both are mentioned under rule 11 of the CCA rules 1965. There are 5 minor penalties and they are censure, then withholding of promotion, then recovery from pay of any pecuniary loss caused to the government. It's a minor penalty. Then we have the reduction by one stage for not more than 3 years. Kindly note, if the pay of the employee is reduced only by one increment, that is one stage, not more than 3 years, it is a minor penalty. And then the fifth minor penalty is withholding of increment. These are the 5 minor penalties. Now let us come to the major penalties. If you reduce the pay by one stage, it is minor, I told you. But if it is reduced by more than one stage, it is a major penalty. So the first major penalty is reduction to a lower stage by more than one stage. Then comes the reduction of post. That means an employee is reduced to a lower post by way of a penalty. This is a major penalty. After these two penalties comes the next three severe major penalties, in which the person no longer is in service, he loses his job. First of them is little milder in form. The compulsory retirement is a milder form because even on retirement, although he is no longer in the job, he gets all his retirement dues, his pension, leave encashment, gratuity, everything. Coming to the last two, which are removal and dismissal, which are the most extreme of the major penalties, both are by and large same. You don't get any retirement dues. You don't get pension in either removal or dismissal. You don't get gratuity. You don't get leave encashment. But the only small difference between removal and dismissal is that, technically speaking, in removal, a person is not disqualified for future employment under the government. Whereas in dismissal, he is ordinarily disqualified for any future employment in the government. Now, there do not appear to be much of a difference between removal and dismissal. However, this has got very serious implications, and very funny and comic situations have arisen, and I have understood them only when I dealt with a particular case, which was the funny part or the lighter part of the rules, in which there was a department, it will not be right to name that department. In that department, there was a training institute, and being a very highly technical subject, the faculty members were found with a lot of difficulty because it not only required postgraduate qualifications in that domain area, it also required 7 years of experience of teaching and training. Only then a person was eligible to be appointed as a faculty. Now, in this training institute, there were a lot of faculty members, but one of them, during a meeting with senior officers, misbehaved, used some unparliamentary language, and was very violent during the discussions, and there was a scuffle between a senior officer and this faculty, and finally it was decided to conduct an inquiry. Charge sheet was issued to him, charges were found to be proved in the inquiry. Discipline authority agreed with the report of the inquiry officer, and finally he was very furious and was wanted to impose one of the severe major penalties, as you see on the screen. Now, during the discussion, when the discussion was going on with other officers, in coming to the conclusion as to what should be the penalty, what would be commensurate with the serious offense that he has committed, the discipline authority was exploring all the various options of the penalty, but one of the subordinates, finding that the discussion was not going in the right direction, asked the discipline authority, sir, what is your view, which penalty should be imposed? And so the discipline authority was already very angry with this government employee, and he said, I want him to be removed from this post. I don't want to see his face. Just remove him from the complex. He should not be seen in this institute.
Go down beach.
So then that subordinate again asked that, sir, so which penalty should we impose? He said, I told you, remove him from service. Subordinate looked at the discipline authority, and after gathering some courage, he said, sir, but there is a problem with imposition of the penalty of removal. The moment he said that, the discipline authority got furious. He said, what is the problem? I told you I am the discipline authority. In my view, the removal should be, he should be removed from service. I don't want to see his face.
Go down beach.
Now, after all this, the subordinate kept quiet. Other officers all agreed and said, yes, sir, let us put removal, sir, and the removal will be right, sir. And finally, discipline authority wrote on the file that the ends of justice would be met if the penalty of removal is imposed on him. And finally, he was issued, an order was issued for removal of this person from service with effect from a particular date. Now, that's the main first part of the story. But the second part is so very interesting that 6 months later, obviously, when this post of the faculty fell vacant, the department advertised the vacancy again in the newspaper as per the recruitment rules. And the recruitment rules prescribe direct recruitment as the primary method. So they advertise it to be filled up by direct recruitment. And you can almost guess what is going to be the story. But it's so interesting that the recruitment rules also provided that the person, as I told you, must have first division in the domain area and post-graduation level. And plus, he must also have 7 years of experience in teaching oblique training that subject in a government department. Now, obviously, these conditions in the recruitment rules made it very tough for any person to be eligible for the faculty member post. So the vacancy was advertised, and 45 days were kept as the uh, closing date for the application. And the department was facing always a shortage of faculty, so they were very keen that post should be filled up. And they were keenly, after the advertisement, were keenly observing for how many applications have come. But no applications were received by 10th day. There was no application by 20th day. There was no application received even on the 30th day. So everybody became very disheartened and thought they will have to advertise this vacancy again. But that subordinate who had some idea of the disciplinary proceedings and what penalty has been imposed, and who was trying to tell the disciplinary authority, if you recall, we discussed just now, he was trying to discuss and try to explain that there was a problem with the imposition of penalty of removal in this particular case. That subordinate was not disheartened. He knew that his opinion was different. So he said, wait, at least one application you will again receive. And lo and behold, on the last date of the application, one application was received. They opened the envelope and found the application of the same person was now applying for the post which he himself had vacated 6-7 months ago. So that was the very interesting and funny part of the story. And the question is again, is he ineligible for the post? The answer is no. Removal is not a disqualification for future employment, and therefore he was not ineligible for the post. He had to be considered. Please do not ask me what happened to the selection procedure, whether or not he was finally selected or not. That would be revealing too much. So thank you very much. Bye bye. See you next time with another video.